I'm Kathy with Clergy Image. We came up with this design after testing and trying out mini masks. This one has the pleats on the sides, and it is large enough to open up and go over the N95 mask. So if you only have one N95 mask, you're going to be able to have 2 layers of fabric to cover it so you can make it last longer. It also has an inside pocket that you can slip a piece of filtration fabric. It also has a piece of wire in here so you can bend it and it can fit around your nose for a good seal. You put both elastics over the head. One stays at the neck. The other one goes on your head. Then you can pull this up over your nose and press the wire down so that you can get a good seal here. And you can pull it down below your chin. You have a good seal on the side. I can pull it out so that my mouth and my nose have plenty of room in there. This elastic is adjustable. It slides through the edge here. So if it's too tight, you can pull it and give yourself a little bit more stretch. Also, I'm going to take it off. If this elastic is too tight for you, too loose, you can tie another knot in it to adjust it to make it smaller. I have my cotton fabric that is 11 inches by 16 inches. I have my wrong side of the fabric and the right side of the fabric. I am going to put the right sides together on the 11-inch side. I'm going to make a seam. I'm using orange fabric so you can see it. And I am going to take my measure and measure 2 3/4 inches right there. I'm just going to mark it with an ink pen because no one will ever see it. So I'm starting at the edge, back stitching, sewing up to my ink mark, and back stitching. Measure 2 3/4 inches. Mark with my ink pen. So then your mask will look like this. I'm going to reach my hand inside this tube that I have. And I'm going to open this seam like that. And you can see, if I open the whole thing, you have an opening. That will be your pocket. I like to start on this side because I can use the edge of my presser foot as a guide when I'm sewing along this edge here. The other thing you have to make sure is you pull the fabric away from your sewing on the other side because it'll try to get underneath and you'll sew it. So I'm going to back stitch, sewing along the edge, pulling the fabric back, making sure there's nothing underneath that I'm going to sew over. Nothing I hate more than to have to rip out stitches. So I'm going to prepare it so it's nice and flat there for myself. If you need to pin it down, you can pin it down. Then I'm going to put the needle in, pivot, and then go over this edge here. Then I will put the needle in and pivot again. Going all the way to the end. When I see the opening, needle in, pivot, sew across. can see that mine doesn't completely match up here. That doesn't matter. Now I have my piece that looks like this with my opening here, and this is like a tube. I am going to fold it down here and lay it on the ironing board. So the opening to the edge, this is the opening, this is the edge, is 5/8 of an inch. I'll open that there so you can see. If it doesn't come out perfectly 5/8 of an inch, anywhere near is just fine. So now I'm going to flatten that out and iron it. Then I am going to make the pleats. So I start with about 1 1/4 inches and I fold it over probably about 1/2 inch. I kind of guess. And then I put it up. And then I will put it up. Don't pay any attention to where the pleats go on top of this opening. Wherever they land is just fine. You just want it to look nice and even, and then you can put the iron on it and iron them in really good. Next, we are going to make the pocket for the twist tie that goes in the top, but the twist tie is 4 inches, so it will center there. And if it's not exact, don't worry. So I just start probably about here, and I backstitch. I sewed a little bit farther than I usually do. I usually stop about here, but that's not going to matter. Like I said, if it doesn't come out perfect, just keep going. It will be fine. So inside your mask, I'm going to slide this twist tie, and I'm just going to follow the top of this until I hit that, my hand's in the way, the casing, and I'll keep pushing it until it hits the other side. And I will close it up so it can't escape. I feel the twist tie there. So I'm going to sew here. I don't want to sew over it because I might break my needle, and I hate putting new needles in, just like I hate ripping. Next, I'm going to put my pleats here. I'm going to stay stitch. Some people call this basting. A stay stitch means you're just stitching it so it will stay. You don't have to back stitch. You just want to make it stay. This mask has the selvage edge here. The selvage edge is the edge of the fabric that's already finished off. So there's no need for an extra turn. So I'm just going to turn it this way and sew a casing. I want to make sure my casing is going towards the back side of the mask, so I unfold here to check that I have the pocket. I'm going to backstitch and just sew on top of that. That opening, my amount that I folded back isn't perfect, but I let the mask do what it wants to do. I don't fight it. That is probably going to measure about 1/2 inch, that opening there. On the other side, I'm going to stay stitch. You can see this does not have a selvage edge. This is an edge that needs to be finished off. So I will stay stitch these. And I'm going to cut off the furries. All that raw edge. And then I'm going to clip these threads because I don't want them in my way. Away go the furries. So this edge you will have to fold 2 times because it is is not the self-attach. So one time, and I'm imagining it's probably about 1/4 of an inch. But it could be whatever. You just don't want to make it too big because then your mask becomes smaller. And then you have the folded 2 times. So this is finished here with a fold. I just hold it with my fingers. It seems to hold just fine, but if you need to put some pins in, you can. And sometimes when you're sewing against these pleats here, they want to pull down. So you just want to hang on to them and make sure they don't get away from you. And I have a little bit extra here. See, it's not matching up there. I'll just sew over it and leave it. That's just fine. It doesn't matter once the elastic's in. It is not going to matter. So I'm going to clip it here, clip it here. And this finishes the sewing on the mask. This is the back side that would be towards your face with the pocket. And this is the outside where you would put it on your face this way. I'm going to use my favorite elastic, the 1/8 inch. I'm going to cut a 25-inch piece and put the pin through the little elastic and close the pin. It's the easiest, I find, to start from the bottom. This is the bottom, and the top has the wire, so you'll know that's the top. I'll put it in that hole that casing makes right there. And you're going to push the pin through. It goes easily through until it pokes its head out the other side. Then I'm going to pull it, and the elastic is in there. Then I'm going to take my pin out and put it in the other side so I can start from the bottom and go up. See it on the other side and pull it through. So then it looks like this. You take your pin out, and you want to make sure that you tie your knot on top. That way people have the knot on top to tell them where the top is. So you put the 2 pieces together, you wind it around your finger like that, put the 2 pieces through the hole, and make your knot. But pull it very tight because people don't need to take it out. Only if they want to make it smaller, they can tie an additional knot where they need it. And then your mask is completed.